Wish you both the best of luck and may the best man win.
Only the best man will win.
If you didn't want to work today, you could have said something. You could have called us.
Just do what I say and everything will be all right.
So, Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yes, apparently.
Apparently? Are you be like, it's about time?
It's never about time. Because
No?
every time I get one of those, I kind of feel like, does that mean it's over?
Oh, okay. Doesn't that depend on how you feel?
Yeah. Well, no, but then obviously I say no because tomorrow I'm going to go out and do something again.
Okay.
But it's just wonderful, you know. I mean, being recognized for work that you've done many years ago and work that you're still doing now is always an honor. So, you know, I mean, I can't be more thankful to Fantasia. I can't be more thankful to Mark Lemont and Mitch Davis.
So take us through your highs and lows throughout your career. Does that get you thinking when someone asks you to get a Lifetime Achievement Award?
Well, yeah, but you know, I mean, it's a difficult thing. You know, I mean, what can I say? A high is every time I make a film. A low is every time I'm waiting to make a film.
I see. Okay.
You know, I've been blessed in the sense that I've been a pretty busy guy most of my career so far. Now that I'm getting a little older, I don't mind a little longer between shows. I just finished a big show in Europe a year ago.
Okay.
That's just got released in Europe in May.
Okay.
And
talk to us about it.
It's called Rise of the Raven.
Okay.
And it's a 10 1-hour action adventure, medieval action adventure. It's sort of, you can liken it to Game of Thrones without zombies and dragons, but it's a true story of a Eastern European general called János Hunyadi.
Okay.
Who, I'll ask you a question.
Sure.
Do you know why church bells ring at noon every day all over the world?
All over the world? I wouldn't be able to tell you the reason for all over the world. No, I wouldn't know. So do tell.
To commemorate the victory of János Hunyadi over the invading Ottoman army in 1456.
Okay. Yeah.
He destroyed an army of 250,000 soldiers with an army of 20,000. Destroyed it to the point where the Ottoman Empire was so broke that it took 70 years for it to invade Europe again. For that reason, the Pope at the time declared that all church bells shall ring in forever, in perpetuity, at noon to celebrate that victory. So basically, the title of the show should have been For Whom the Bell Tolls, but Hemingway stole that from us. So,
absolutely, or got to it first, I guess.
Hemingway just stole that from us. So it became Rise of the Raven because his flag was that of a raven holding a ring.
As someone who loves ravens, it's not a bad choice either.
It's a beautiful. So it was a very big undertaking.
Okay, your biggest yet?
In terms of finances, yes.
Okay.
It was somewhere just over 100 million Canadian dollars.
Okay. Oh wow.
10 episodes.
My God. Okay. Where was it shot?
It was shot in Hungary.
Okay. Wow.
It was shot in Hungary, and one of the more interesting things about it was that it's basically an international story. It's about the Ottoman Empire, it's about Serbia, it's about Hungary, it's about Slovakia, it's about Czech Republic, or Czechoslovakia as it was called then. It's about Croatia, it's about Italy, it's about Germany, it's about Austria. And we decided that every country will be represented by their own actors and stars.
That's really cool.
So the first 2 episodes will be aired or be projected at TIFF on September 8th.
Of this year?
Yes.
Okay.
And September 19, the series will be shown on CBC.
I'm looking forward to it. That's
great.
It's
a great series. It's
And given where the origins are, isn't it your heritage as well too?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
yes,
okay.
It is.
So I figured like
that's one of the reasons why I ended up. I was one of the few people who speaks Hungarian fluently.
Okay.
And obviously speaks English fluently and French fluently enough. And the first job was to take 10 700-page books and transform them into 10 60-page screenplays.
Yeah,
that was the first challenge.
That's quite the undertaking, for sure.
So that was it. So that's the most recent thing I just finished doing, and just before when I came back to Canada, I shot a little trilogy called Ominous.
Okay.
For Lockhart Productions, which played on Bell. It's sort of like the Twilight Zone.
Okay.
So it's three episodes, and it's an anthology series or mini series that I shot. So that's about it for now.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. That's great. You're busier than I imagined, and that's given that you're getting this award, I mean, like it kind of is a testament to like how you just don't stop in that way.
Oh, I don't want to stop.
Exactly.
I mean,
right.
I'll only stop when I'm horizontal.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah.
I say, yeah. Now let's take a dive back to like the stuff that you've done in the past and the things that have made you the household name that you are now. So pickup or pinball, right? Why is that still debated as a title?
Well, originally it was called Pinball Summer.
Right.
That's the Canadian title for the Canadian film we made in Canada.
I see.
In Montreal.
Okay, great.
So it was Pinball Summer. Obviously, for the Americans, they decided in their wisdom that Pickup Summer is a better title for a film about pinball. You tell me why.
And that's the thing.
I don't fucking know. Excuse me.
Yeah, and you have no say in this in that way too.
Of
right?
course not. No, when distributors take over a film, one of the things that's interesting about this is distributors also take over a bit of what called a copyright. If you'll notice, most films will have a disclaimer at the end where it says, for legal purposes, the copyright holder, author of this film is the distributor. So it's so distributors can basically, to an extent, especially when you're a young filmmaker, making your first movie, I didn't even know those things were possible, So then I found out that it was Pickup Summer, and I said, well, it's Pickup Summer. And then I see the poster, and it's pictures of 3 girls who are not even in the movie. But that's the American, the American thing.
That was the appeal, I guess.
Whatever it was,
appeal.
who knows,
Exactly.
But it did very well in the States also. It was, it's weirdly enough, it's becoming a little bit of a cult film again now.
Absolutely.
It was, how would I call it best? It was drive-in fodder.
Right.
It was built and designed as a drive-in movie.
And they do it frequently in the film as well.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. We made that fun of the drive-in in the movie, but it was a lot of fun doing it. Obviously as a first film, you kind of try and figure out how to do it all.
How necessary was it for you to, how necessary was this film for you to basically lend yourself to creating, to getting to My Bloody Valentine? Your most iconic.
What happened was, I knew a gentleman called Bob Presner. Bob Presner was, at the time, the first film school graduate to actually work professionally in the industry as a production manager, line producer in Montreal.
Okay.
Because in those days, film school graduates were kind of frowned upon in the industry.
Right.
Yeah. We were just flakes. So Bob Presner hired me to work as a PA. I was fresh out of college. Hired me as a PA on a film called L'Homme en Colère that was just directed by Claude Pinoteau, one of the new wave directors.
Right.
produced by Alexandre Minushkin, who at the time was like the Michael Korda of France, or the Goldwyn Mayer of France. And I did quite well on that show, starting off as office PA, making coffee, to becoming Claude Pinotto's personal location scout.
Your coffee must have been great.
That's, you know what I keep telling everybody who says, what was the most important aspect of how you got into the industry, and I said, I learned to make really good coffee. That's exactly what happened. I was basically the office PA. My job was to make coffee. The coffee was running out in the office, and it was really shitty coffee. And Claude and Alexandre would walk in, and they'd go, "C'est de merde, ça, c'est imbuvable." So I ended up, in those days, you could only buy good coffee in two places. Downtown Montreal, where all the Hungarian coffee houses were, like Pam Pam, and the coffee mill, and obviously Little Italy on Saint Laurent. So I remembered the Pam Pam, where my dad used to take me when he'd go for coffee. And so I walked into the Pam Pam to ask them where I can buy good coffee. And the manager remembered me and said, "Well, how much do you need?" I said, "A couple of kilos." So she said, "You know what? I'll just sell it to you. You don't have to go up to Union Coffee way up on in the North End to buy the coffee." So I bought the coffee. I made the coffee. Claude and Alexandre walk in, and they go, "Ça sent bon. Ça sent bon." They taste the coffee. Who made the coffee? I made the coffee. So he said, "Well, if you know where to get good coffee, maybe you know many more things about Montreal. How about you be my driver?"
And
so I became his driver.
You brewed gold, and you end up.
And then I'm driving him around, and he is now very disappointed in the location scouting for the film. He's looking for one location that represents oppression and freedom. Liberté, l'oppression. So I go, Anyway, he's bitching about the fact that nobody understands, and nobody even bothers reading the screenplay, which is unfortunately a reality for a lot of technicians.
Even today?
Yeah, even more so today than ever before, because now they just read the breakdowns. So anyway, so one day, as I'm driving him around, I said, "Look, sorry to interrupt, but I couldn't help but overhear that you're still looking for that location. If you don't mind, I can show you something within 10 minutes of our of your hotel." He says, "Well, how would you know?" He said, "I read the script." He said, "Oh." So I took him back in the days on Saint-Jacques, and you know where the train tracks are? Right. Well, they used to have these old Victorian wrought iron bridges.
Oh, yes, right.
On Notre-Dame, just over Saint-Jacques. There one would be at Guy, there would be one at Mountain, I think. And anyway, they were sort of like arches. So if you stood on the bottom of that, you had this really heavy metal bolt, like bolts, rusting bolts and water dripping down. But you had train tracks underneath you. And if you looked left, you had a sunrise. If you looked right, you had a sunset. Now, train tracks tend to mean freedom and movement, right? The weight of that was the oppression. So he thought, "Génial! From now on, you are my location scout." So I became his location scout. And then I ran all the locations that I found for him. So anyway, Bob Presner, 6 months later, called me and said, "There's a producer who wants to make a youth comedy, and I know you're a director, I've seen your student films, and I recommended that maybe you should meet with him. Would you like to?" And I said, "Well, There's the Bear Catholic, you know. There's the Pope shit in the woods, you know. So anyway, I bet with Jack Murphy, we got along. I did Pinball Summer. Pinball Summer made a lot of money for its budget and they sold all over the world. I mean, it was sold in France, it was sold in England, it was sold all over Europe.
It's a testament to like what was in demand that they during that time.
Well, it was, and the fact that it was entertaining and you know, silly but charming.
Absolutely.
You know, and not pretentious. You know, I mean, it didn't pretend to be anything but a silly romp.
Right.
But well done silly romp. You know, and kind of funny. So, John Dunning and Andre Link from Cinepix, who were always looking for new talent. I mean, they did Cronenberg's first couple of movies. They did Ivan Reitman's first couple of movies. They did Meatballs. They did Denis Hiroux's first couple of movies. So, I mean, these guys were always looking for new talent. So they hired me to do a 2-picture deal. And my first picture was going to be a comedy called Stitches.
Oh, okay.
We worked on that screenplay for a little while. I knew a bunch of guys from the National Lampoon, right. So I worked with those National Lampoon writers. But unfortunately, our head writer on that ended up, I guess, enjoying a little too much Peruvian marching powder, and ended up writing a 900-page screenplay.
Wow.
To which John Dunning, when he received it, and it looked like a telephone book, said, you know, I won't be able to finish reading this before we were supposed to finish shooting this. So how would you like to make your second movie for me first? And I said, by that time I needed a job again, you know. So I said, for sure, you know what? So he handed me a 1-page treatment called The Secret, which was the treatment to My Bloody Valentine. Mm-hmm. And he said, this is what? And I said, well, John, you know, sure, but, you know, I've never made a horror film before. To which John sort of smiled at me and said, well, you never made a comedy before you made one of those. So I said, you're right, why not? So I used the same crew, the same director of photography, Rodney Gibbons, who was also my partner in all the student films that we made together, and a lot of my classmates that we worked on with Pinball Summer. So guys like Walter Klimke for Gaffer, Donnie Cohen for sound, Kathy Wolf, a lot of people. We ended up making My Bloody Valentine, which was a bit of a rush. I mean, the challenge, I didn't realize what the challenge was going to be until John explained once we've signed the contract and started working. We brought up John Baird from LA to write. So John Baird and I spent a couple of weeks coming up with the story as it is. And then Bob Presner and I went to Nova Scotia to look for locations while John was writing the first draft. When we came back from the locations, we gave him all the ideas of what could be done with a mine, because we found the mine and so on. So we did a polish on that screenplay. But then John says, well, you know what? And this is like end of August. And he says, well, you know, it's got to be in the theaters for February 13th. Friday, February 13th, 1981.
Oh, wow. That's
and I said, really? Well, and then I thought about it and I said, well, you know, I'm about to turn 28. I don't think I need that much sleep.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so we basically shot the movie in Sydney Mines, Nova Scotia. Obviously, the challenges were immense, starting with, first of all, the wonderful people who ran the mine, or there was a closed mine. They just closed it down. The coal face was done, so, but it was only closed for 6 months, so it was still a working mine to an extent, except nobody was working in it, which is exactly what we needed.
Right.
Well, these wonderful people, they wanted the money, of course, obviously, the town needed the money. They kind of neglected to tell us that you couldn't use film lights in there because film lights tend to spark.
I see. Okay.
And sparks tend to ignite methane gas. Coal mines produce a lot of methane gas.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
So we ended up realizing that we could only shoot with 25-watt safety bulbs. So
which works well. I think. I feel like the lighting was.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what that meant was all of a sudden we were supposed to shoot with ARRI equipment and Zeiss lenses, and now the only thing we could shoot with was Panavision using the same lenses that Stanley Kubrick had made for himself on Barry Lyndon, where he lit it only with candlelight.
That is quite the adjustment for sure.
So yeah, so that was a bit of an adjustment, and then the film stock was still not fast enough, so we ended up having to send it to New York, where a chemtone process would allow us to push that stock one more stop. So the film stock went from our camera to New York, from New York to Montreal, where it got printed as a work print, sent to Halifax, and then sent up to Cape Breton. So what I shot on Monday, I would see on Friday, or the Monday after.
Okay.
So we shot the whole thing blind on top of that.
Oh, wow. It turned out great, for sure.
Yeah, and then obviously we had the whole adventure with the MPAA and got censored to hell. And it's only in the last few years that we've been able to reconstitute about 60 to 70% of what was actually shot. But it turned out great.
It did turn out great.
It turned out great. You know, I mean, we wanted to make the what we jokingly called a deer hunter of horror films.
Absolutely.
And we ended up, I think, succeeding pretty well.
We gotta wrap things up, but like just a couple more words regarding Pinball Summer in that way. So like, you know, how important is that feature to you, and then now even being presented for you here in Fantasia, being, you know, from Montreal and everything?
Well, you know, I mean, seeing obviously the first film is always, you know, the most important to an extent, because if that first film was a failure, I wouldn't be sitting here accepting this wonderful award. So I haven't seen it in 40 years.
Oh, okay.
So I'm looking forward to it, just like I haven't seen Hostile Takeover, or Office Party is what it should be called. Again, another genius American distribution company's decision. But Office Party is another one that I haven't seen in, I guess, when did we shoot that? 88. So since then.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. So you're gonna have fun tonight. I'm hoping it's as good as I think it is.
I mean, like at this point, is it just nostalgic? Is it like, you know? I mean, especially at an audience like this, you know, I feel like you would get by default get a good reception.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think you know, I mean, we have Michael Ironside in it, we had David Warner in it, we had John Vernon in it, so we had some pretty decent actors who did some pretty decent work from what I can remember, and it's got a couple of very, very cool effects in it. So, you know, so I think overall it's going to be fun tonight.
I think so too. Well then, thank you very much, George.